Hi everyone, today we're going to be talking about quadrilaterals. So a quadrilateral is a fancy math word that means four-sided shape. And so when we think about four-sided shapes, the first one that probably comes to your mind is a square. Now, a square, as we all know, has all sides equal. That means that if I were to measure all four sides of this square, I should get the same measurement each time. And the way that we show that in the diagrams is that we put a little one line tick on each of them, and that shows me that each of the sides are the same. All right, and the other thing that we want to draw our attention to is that squares have what we call squared or right angles in the corner. So this distance between where these two lines meet is called an angle, and we measure it in degrees. And in order for an angle to be a right angle, to have that little square in the corner, it needs to measure 90 degrees. So for a square, it has all sides equal and all angles are equal. Now the whole angle thing isn't super important. I just want you to kind of keep in mind what that right angle looks like. Okay, we're going to be getting more into angles hopefully later this year. All right, so the next most common four-sided shape after square that we probably think of is a rectangle. Now a rectangle has opposite sides that are equal length. And like the square, all the angles are equal. So this side is the same length as this side, and this side is the same length as this side. And all of our angles are the same. Okay. The next shape we're going to look at looks a little bit like a rectangle, but it's a bit different, and I'm sorry for the squiggles on my pen. I don't know how to get it to do a nice straight line for me. So this shape here is called a parallelogram, which is really fun to say. And it looks a little bit like I kind of took this corner of my rectangle and I've kind of given it a tug and pulled the whole thing so it's on a bit of a slant. So kind of like our rectangle, my opposite sides are the same. So this and this side are the same length, and this side are the same length. So opposite sides are equal. And again, sorry for my writing. I'm trying to write it neat. I just haven't figured out a good way to put my hand down so it doesn't mess things up. But what's different with a parallelogram is that the angles, the opposite angles, are the same. So this angle and this angle would measure the same, and this angle and this angle would measure the same. All right, let's do a couple more common ones. The next one we're going to do is similar to a parallelogram, a little bit different. And this is called a rhombus. So, like a square, A rhombus has all four sides the same length, and it actually looks like someone took a square, took this corner of the square and kind of tugged it to the side. So all sides are equal. And just like our parallelogram, our opposite angles are equal. All right, and we've got one more four-sided shape, and this one is, as far as common ones go, is a little bit of an outlier, a little bit on the weird side. And it's really only got one main rule. And this shape here is called a trapezoid. Now it looks a little bit like a triangle that's had the top chopped off of it. And in order to be classified a trapezoid, it needs to have one pair of lines that run parallel. So parallel means that they run in the same direction. So these two lines run parallel, but almost all of my sides, especially with this trapezoid here, are a different length. So my angles can be different, my side lengths can be different. Okay, so this just needs to have one pair No, I never remember parallel. I never remember where the double L goes. If I've made it wrong, I'll put a comment in the YouTube video. So one pair of parallel lines to make up a trapezoid. Now, these are by no means all of the four-sided shapes that we can have. There are all kinds of them. So we can have a diamond shape, which some people argue is pretty much a rhombus that's on its side. And if you kind of were to turn it, it would look like a rhombus. We've also got a kite shape. So a kite shape is shorter at the top with longer lines in the bottom, but also a four-sided shape. And a quadrilateral can also be any kind of random four-sided shape. Oop. My program's correcting it for me there. Hang on one second. Let's get rid of that. I'm going to try to make it so it doesn't correct it for me. Oh. Okay, we'll turn that off. So, any kind of random shape. Can also be a quadrilateral. So that line should be straight. So those are quadrilaterals. Next time we're going to go a little bit further and we're going to talk about a whole bunch of other shapes with more sides and some with less sides. And if you have any questions about this, you have 3 sheets to work through along that have to do with quadrilaterals. If you have any questions, talk to the grown-ups at home, have them send me a message, and I will do my best to answer your questions. Thanks very much. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.